in the mid-1800s, primarily the 1820s, and it tends to burn out about the 1870s. The area of my particular study is the burned-over district of upstate New York. And there you have these great religious sects that are coming out of the area. It was known as the burned-over district because of the fact that there were so many revivals that people felt that all the fuel had been burned up in the area as far as religious fervor. But from this great awakening comes several modern religions. Mormonism, for example, is born during this time. But also items of the period, such as the Shakers, come out of this. And my primary interest is the spiritualist. And beginning in 1848, March 31st, with two young girls, the Fox sisters. And they begin, the household, the family begins to experience these spirit knockings within their home. And the young girls claim they can communicate with, and that these knockings come from them. And so basically you have this family kind of freak out because these young girls are acting sort of as proto-mediums, if you will, and they begin communing with the rapping spirits of a man known as Mr. Splitfoot, said to be a peddler, that is buried in their basement, who was murdered in the house and is sort of exacting, is trying to communicate in order to exact vengeance for his murder. And so you have these two young girls who obviously are very innocent, Kate and Maggie Fox, and at least seen that way by their neighbors. And from this, a pamphlet is soon printed up within weeks of this occurrence, and news of these young mediums spreads. And from that, countless duplicators of that, just come out of that movement. And before you know it, spiritualism, a good 10 years later, you've got about 15,000 mediums working, according to Elizabeth Barrett Browning, working in the Americas, and 1.4 million followers of spiritualism during its heyday. And so, for myself, I tend to concentrate on the study and the collection of artifacts from that era. And one of the earlier artifacts that sort of predates the Ouija board is the planchette, which is an automatic writing tool.
Now, how does the planchette work?
Well, the planchette is similar to a Ouija board if you take away the board. In other words, rather than a pointer that's pointing to letters, the planchette has a small pencil, and with that pencil, you're writing out your answers. So you have, you'd get your planchette, your little box, and here's the board itself, and you'll notice sort of a large version of the pointer that comes with modern Ouija boards. And rather than a third leg, you have a pencil. And so with this, and it would always come with, a little piece of butcher paper, and you would spread this out on the family table, and you would set this out, and simply everyone would put their hands on it, much the same way as you operate the Ouija board. So you have this paper flattened out, and the device would begin moving around, and it would, one would hope, spell out, in its scribbling, would spell out legible messages, which could then be interpreted and read. You would ask it questions in the same way. So that's the planchette. And we have many examples of this over the years. It was very popular here, more popular really in Britain. It really took off across the water, much more than it did here in America, although it was still popular here. And these were constructed first by pharmacists,